Ooh, ooh, big fish ish. Did that hit the same with the ish? Trying to keep it clean, trying to keep it clean. And you're probably wondering why my hair is looking all crazy right now. Just actually was in the process of beginning to do it myself. Um, and I'll explain why all this connects and why, I just, while I was in mid, doing my hair, I wanted to just connect with you all, turn the camera on, and explain something that I've gone through with my business, my time, that may impact y'all as well. So, why am I recording while I'm doing my hair? Well, I guess the simple answer is because I want to maximize my time. And when it comes to business, one of the hardest decisions that I think a lot of us have to make is when to hire somebody. When to hire somebody, bring somebody on board, start paying them to do something for you so you can focus your time, effort, and energy onto something else. So, as I said, I'm gonna be doing my hair while I kick not kick some game to y'all, but just share a little bit of my experience and give my opinion on, when's the right time to hire somebody, when's the right time to increase your team and reinvest in your business. So, back to the hair. Yeah, well, just to touch on the hair real quick. Like I said, I haven't gotten my hair done in so long professionally. I used to always get it done professionally. I have a couple homegirls that are real nice with it. But it's just, me driving half an hour, 45 minutes to go get my hair done and then got to drive back. And it's just, I can do some work. The good thing about it is I can do work while I'm actually getting it done. But for me, this was just so much more efficient. And now if I can make a video while doing it, I'm even more efficient. So obviously, maybe you're starting to, well, maybe it's not super obvious, but hopefully you're starting to make the connection between the time aspect, what's going to put ourselves, just like I hire somebody to do my hair so I can free myself up for, other things that I can do with my business. That's the same mindset when it comes to hiring somebody to help with our business. But what happens, well, it's happened with me and what, speaking to other people as well, especially in the beginning stages of our businesses, we don't really know when it's time to bring somebody on board. Because what happens when you're first starting off? You wear a bunch of hats. You're this person, that person, that you're fulfilling the roles of 10 different people. Why? Because you can't afford to pay anybody. You have to just figure it out on your own, learn different things. Even when it comes to the podcast, like shoot, I had to, YouTube what equipment to buy. I had to be the videographer. I had to be the editor. All these different things. I'm the one looking up topics, figuring out, how to get the algorithm in my favor. All these different things. These are roles that a bunch of people can fulfill. And especially when we were doing the clothing, you add that in there, you're literally doing the jobs of just a bunch of people. For one, because in the beginning stages, you feel like it's your baby. Nobody's going to do a better job as you. You understand your vision. But the problem with that is as you go on, if you don't bring somebody on in the beginning, then you're always going to have that feeling like they're just not going to understand. Like, I'm not going to trust them to put out certain information about the business, certain information about the brand, certain things that may influence people on the brand. You're not necessarily going to trust them, but I'm going to tell you why it's necessary. And even if that's the case, if you're nervous about them putting out stuff, then maybe you need to hire somebody who can do all the other stuff so you can focus on putting out stuff that's directly to the consumers or to other businesses, where they'll understand your brand. Like, you want to obviously have a consistent brand, or, consistent or not, I think you want to have a consistent brand, but at least you want to be in control of what you're putting out there. It's your business. So let me kind of give you a little thoughts on why it's important to hire somebody and to pay them. But first, what's the biggest hesitation when it comes to bringing somebody on board? One of the biggest hesitations is the fact that, once you start making some money with your business, what do you want to do? You want to hold on to that money, right? You either want to save it. Well, I don't know if you want to save it, but you probably are excited about once you get it in, you're excited to kind of hold on to it and just have that quote unquote perceived power of either being able to spend it on your own and upgrade your lifestyle. That's a big one, right? As soon as the money comes in, we want to spend it, right? We're making X amount with our 9 to 5 or our day job, or we were living at a certain means level before. But as soon as money starts coming in, what do we want to do? We want to start spending a little more. But as we've all heard, what's the greatest investment that we can make? In ourselves, right? The greatest investment. Matter of fact, since Warren Buffett, I believe, or I don't know if he was the first person to say it, as far as the greatest investment you can make is in yourself. But we're going to change it up. The greatest investment that you can make is a reinvestment. A reinvestment. Because that money that is coming in, what's really going to take your business to the next level and allow you to scale. And once again, this is my experience. Like, I'm not an expert on this, and I'm sharing with you all, being transparent in the beginning stages. I haven't had the ultimate win that I'm looking for, that I'm gonna get, not looking for, that I'm working for. But I just want to share this with you all. So, the greatest investment that you can make is a reinvestment, and that reinvestment, that's gonna be key to taking your business, my business, our businesses to the next level. So reinvestment. What do I mean by that? As soon as money comes in, let's say you're selling t-shirts. As soon as money's coming in, and we were doing this before, we were selling clothes with OG, and as soon as money starts coming in, you see your bank account going up a little bit. What do you do with the money? What do you do with the money? The best thing, in my opinion, is to figure out a way to produce more, to make your business more efficient so that you're able to scale. So scaling is, you want to be able to reach out to more people. Like, how can we figure out how to do the same work on our end very efficiently, or even more efficient, but sell more products? Sell more, whatever it is that we're selling, more of our services. And to do that, at least in my case, you got to bring a lot of people on board. You got to be willing, even with, the podcasting. When I used to first, do the podcast, I'd spend hours and hours trying to learn Premiere Pro, trying to edit a lot of this stuff, and it would take me forever. And I remember one time I spent literally days editing something, and it still didn't come out to my satisfaction. And what did I have to do? I either had to reach out to my boy Ursi, or I had to just go on Freelancer and end up paying somebody to do it anyway. Now, was that all bad? No, it wasn't all bad, because I learned something. I learned a new skill. However, Dame Dash actually just said this. He said, I don't want to be good at everything. He said, I want to be good at what I'm good at, and then pay other people who are exceptional at what they're doing to do, what they do. Like, why would I try to be good at everything? It's just not going to make sense. It's going to take too long. In those 2 days, I could have been working on something else. I could have been working on something else that was going to build the business, rather than me trying to act like I'm an editor and just trying to keep everything in-house and not pay anybody to do anything. Why? That's stupid. My time is worth more than that. What, I'm going to pay somebody a couple $100s to edit something? Like, 2 days of my time is worth more than that. I could have been doing, let me rephrase it. The time that those 2 days, I could have been doing things that would give me a greater return value than what I'm going to spend on somebody editing a podcast. For them, they're experts. They do it very quickly. It's going to take them maybe half an hour to do something that it just took me 2 days to do, and I wasn't even satisfied with how it turned out. So, what do we have to do? We have to be willing to see that money coming in, and understand that money is already positioned. It's already allotted for something else. That money already has somebody else's or something's name, that it's going to be used for. We just have to understand that. We have to develop that mindset, and we have to be very intentional with that, because if we're not, we're going to spend it on dumb stuff. We're going to spend it on, oh shoot, yo, we just made a bunch of money. Yo, maybe now we could buy everybody lunch. We could buy da da da. Maybe we can do that. However, the emphasis and intention always has to be on this is getting reinvested into the business. So back to when do you bring somebody on board? As soon as you can afford to pay somebody to do something that's going to save you time, effort, and energy and allow and free up you to do other things that are going to grow the business, that's where the exponential growth comes in. That's the compound that we talk about. When you can pay somebody else to do something, now your time is freed so you can do other things. And then that other person helping out is going to help you make more and more money. So you're scaling. Now you're making more money. And to scale, it's obviously important to hire the right person. Why? Because you want to make sure that whoever you're hiring, that they're going to bring back a greater return than what you're paying for. It's not a finesse. It's not, I mean, I don't know what you would call it, but you're taking the risk of the business. It's your business. Anybody that you hire, you can't hire somebody that's just gonna break even, or somebody that's just gonna. And I'm not talking about the first month. Then it has to be. Sometimes they have to. There's a learning curve. They have to learn different stuff. It's an investment in them, but the overall goal is to have them bring a value that exceeds what you're paying them for. That goes back to exactly what we were talking about. If you're gonna, with my time, when it came to my time, I would be more valuable for my business spending 2 days doing something to grow the business rather than me just playing around on Premiere Pro, which is what I felt like it was, and learning on YouTube and taking all this time and then having to restart and do all this stuff. It just didn't make any sense. So we want to make sure that we're hiring the right people. That's very important. The person that we're hiring, or the people that we're hiring, they have to bring a value that's greater than what you're paying them. And then as their value grows that they're bringing to the table, you keep offering them raises. You keep offering them raises. But it can never be, well, I'm not even going to get into the whole break even, but you have to compensate your people. You have to, show your people love, especially if they're bringing that exceptional value. You have to show your people appreciation. So it's a money thing, but it's also just an appreciation. Excuse me. But I read something or watched a video where they were talking about why people leave jobs, and you would think that it's because of the money, but whoever and I forget who was talking about it, but they were saying that the stats show, and I'll have to double check this. Maybe y'all can help me as well. The stats were showing that people didn't leave jobs because of money. They left jobs because they were not appreciated. They didn't feel that they were appreciated. So, that's just neither here nor there. That's just talking about how we have to take care of our people once we do bring them on board. But going back to why it's important to hire a team, just think about all the successful companies. All the successful companies. What do you end up having at the end? You have somebody at the top. A lot of times it just is what it is. You have your leader, and then everybody else is doing certain things. That leader, a lot of people say, I've talked to some businesses where it's very important for everybody to understand, the role. Like, hey, you have to be willing to clean the toilets. You have to be willing to do this. You have to understand the entire business before that you can move up. It's very important for that way you understand the culture. So with that said, it's just very important that when you have somebody at the top, they understand how to delegate different things. And it's going to sound bad, but how to get the best out of their employees. I want to say use their employees, but how to get the best out of their employees, and how to put their employees in positions to where they're going to be able to bring the greatest value to the business. That's on the leader. And when you look at all of these successful companies, it's just very obvious. You have somebody, like I said, at the top, and other people are just doing everything. So even if that person at the top knows how to do everything, it probably doesn't make sense for the person at the top to be doing something that somebody else can do. If it's a basic task, just because it's a basic task doesn't mean that it's going to not take a long time. So you could be spending your time doing a basic task that you could just pay somebody to do an amount that they would be very happy for, because that's what they're better equipped to do. So this has just been the case in my experience. We recently just brought on OHGI from Nigeria. She handles all of our Instagram, social media stuff for our OG Elevate page. And it's probably been one of the greatest decisions that we ever made. One of the greatest decisions that we ever made, because the value that she brings, it's invaluable in a lot of ways, because it allowed us to tap into an entirely different market, while also enhancing our offerings in our current markets. So she's in Lagos, Nigeria. That's where she lives. So just her being out there, interacting, like her friends understanding exactly what OG is, all these different things. It's tapped into an entirely new community market that we weren't even aware of. We look at some of our stats, whether it's on YouTube or on Podbean, at some of our podcast stats, the audio podcast platforms. There's been times where more people in Nigeria listened to our podcast, watched our podcast, than in America. Think about that. So now what are we doing? We have an entirely new community where everything that we're doing is super new to them. It's super dope to them, and they embrace it in a different way than people here who may be used to it, or they just embrace the aspect of it. It's something entirely different to them. It's in America. That's what they're doing, and it allows us, now we're talking about doing different programs that are just specific to Nigeria, doing retreats in Nigeria, working with some of their businesses, doing sales, business development training, doing different things when it comes to health and wellness. All of these things from a personal and professional development side, we're now able to tap into an entirely new market that we wouldn't have been able to do if we didn't bring somebody on board. She's also, initially when we reached out, we just wanted somebody to help with our social media, the social media that we already had. But being that she brings so much value, it just made sense to say, hey, we can reach a little higher in what we're able to do and who we're able to communicate with and bring on as fans. So that just, right there, instead of me just sitting and saying like, oh no, we're making a certain amount right now, or I'm making a certain amount with my job right now. I just, maybe I got a little bit of a raise or here and there, or I'm making more as a consultant, whatever it may be. Now I can get a new car. Now I can maybe move into a new apartment. Now I can maybe go out to more dinners. Forget all that. I'm just going to keep living exactly how I'm living. I'm just going to keep living exactly how I'm living, especially now, we're back and forth between Miami and Jersey. Miami was another investment. Being down there, straight business investment, in a lot of different ways, where I could have just said, okay, boom, we're doing better. So, just stock that money away. Or, hey, we could just live more lavish. We can get a new car. We can get 2 cars. We could do all this stuff. No. Let's focus on building a business out there. Let's invest out there. We see ourselves doing business out there. We have to be there. It has to be an investment there. So there's no difference where we have to reinvest that money that could allow you to live a little bit more lavishly that's coming in now. No, keep living within your means. Keep living within your means. You're already living like that. It's not that bad. Understand that everything is a sacrifice. So we're sacrificing now the little lavish stuff that we could have to have something far greater later on down the line. All right. So for me, as soon as you can make more money, that whatever extra money that's coming in, like you're living, say your means are right here. This is the amount that you need to live. Anything that you're making above that, put that into something else that's going to grow your business. Put that into something else that's going to grow your business. Invest that into another individual that you feel like, yo, that's a special person. Just having them on board, I think could really help. Just having them, contributing their value, their unique value is going to take our business to the next level. Do that. Invest in hiring freelancers to do some work for you that's going to free up your time. You're already making enough to live within your means. You understand that you having a business is an investment. It's a sacrifice. So therefore, when you have money coming in, you can't just spend that on yourself. It has to be reinvested into the business, which goes back to us saying that the greatest investment that we can make is a reinvestment. All right, all that money, we're just filtering it right back in, because that's how we're gonna scale. That's how we're gonna grow. So now, when you bring on, one employee, you bring on another team member, your growth is going to be seen in so many different areas. Now you're appearing to, and this is actually one of the 48 laws of power. Hire people to do stuff because it's going to give the appearance like you're a superhero and that you could just get stuff done fast. That's very important. So now when people see, OG, they're like, damn, they got an OG Elevate page. They're putting stuff on Big Fish Podcast. Damn, they got the clothing coming. Like, yo, what's this? They're in Nigeria. It's just the appearance that, now keeping it real. It's the appearance that we're doing things in so many different areas, but in all actuality, it's not just me. It's an entire team of us. And that's why I'm always trying to bring people on board, and I'm always willing to compensate people. Not only what's fair, but I want to make them happy. Hey, what's going to make you happy? How can we instill certain bonuses to where we can, set you up to do things extra based on, hey, yeah, I'm a big when it comes to the scoreboard and sales. So let's look at it like this. If you're bringing in a greater value, then hey, this at this percentage, this is what your bonus can be. So it incentivizes people to work hard, and it incentivizes people to want to bring more value rather than just remaining stagnant. That's the culture that we want to create. So that's what we do. So it's always going to make sense for me to bring on people. Like, it doesn't matter to me. Like, I'm always looking to hire somebody. Like, yo, what can this person bring to the table that's going to free up my time so I can do this, so I can do that, so I can go develop new relationships, new businesses, new business connections, all these different things. Because the stronger our team is, then we're going to not only grow, like 1+1 does not equal 2. All right. 1+1 doesn't always equal 2. So what one person can do on their own, plus what one person could do on their own, when it comes together, a lot of times it's not just, hey, you were doing this by yourself, you were doing this by yourself, so we just combined the two. Now we're doing the same things, but we're just, combining them together. No, 1+1 can be exponentially greater. All right, because now you're doing what you really focus on doing well. Now I can do what I really focus on and do well. So that growth is going to be exponential. You guys get what I'm saying? So that's just what I wanted to share with y'all. So when it comes to the hair, it's the same thing. So, and shout out to my boy Anton Daniels, because he's the one that really got me thinking about all this, where it's like, hey, you're going to be putting out videos. Yo, put out video. Figure out. Always maximize your time. Always maximize your time. Why not put out a video while I'm doing my hair, especially if it's gonna, allow me to elaborate on a point that may help a lot of us for business, that helps me for business. Like, now I'm doing my hair, but I'm also sharing, my experience with you all. And I'm able to, let's say I need to listen to something or anything like that. I'm just working. Like, it's still work. So it still works. So this is, not that I don't shout out. I don't want to just focus on anybody. I told you I got a couple of my homegirls that do my hair. So I don't want to leave anybody out, but I should definitely be, helping their businesses out as well. So maybe the play is, instead of me driving to get my hair done, it's having them come and do my hair. And then maybe paying a little bit more. But so what? It'll look nicer, and I won't waste any time. And it'll allow me to record even easier if somebody else was doing my hair right now. So you see how we just broke that down? All about maximizing our time, effort, and energy, all right? We have to maximize it. Time is the only thing that we're competing against. Time is the limited resource that we're competing against, all right? So we have to make sure that we're maximizing our time in everything that we do. Because truth be told, like I said, I could be paying somebody to come do my hair. Even though I can do it while I'm talking to you all, I would be doing it a lot faster if I wasn't. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. It's something that a lot of people that I speak to, have had questions about. It's something that I've had a question about. Because we always want to be tight, you work so hard for your business that you want to be tight with the money, where work so hard to bring it in that you could be tight with sending it back out. So we can't be tight. Scared money don't make no money. We've all heard that. But we just got to be very strategic, make sure that we're bringing the right people on board. But if you see somebody that is exceptional in an area that you need and can help free up your time, do it. Do it immediately. Do it immediately. And what it's also going to do is, even if you feel like, oh, well, I don't have enough money to pay them right now, yo, holla at them. Say like, hey, this is the deal. This is the budget that I have for this. How many hours would you be willing to invest in this? Or could we do it project based? However we need to do, explain to them. And they may say like, listen, I like what you're doing. I like that you just reached out, that you probably may not have a lot to spend, in hiring somebody. But the fact that you're willing to do it, I want to be attached to a business like that because that's somebody who's going to grow. They may just want to rock with you. But what did I just say? Got to make sure you take care of those type of people. Got to make sure that we take care of those type of people. So shout out to OHGI. Shout out to Kamari. I can't ever let any of this go by without talking about Kamari. Shame on me for not mentioning her earlier. But when it comes to the book that we put out, when it comes to pretty much, when I look back, especially about from, I don't know, from like 2000, Kamari, what would it be, from like 2019 to like, or 2018 on, Kamari, that was my right hand. She was like exceptional in helping free up some of my time. And now Kamari's back working with us on certain projects. So between Kamari and Baywa, but Kamari was definitely the first person that I really trusted to a point where it's like, or I saw the importance of bringing people onto a team with her, because it's just like, yo, we're able to do so much more than if it was just me. And like I said, it's not always 1 + 1 = 2. It's not 1 + 1 + 1 = 3. You bring the right people on, and it should be exponentially greater than that. All right. So I don't know the proper math terms and all that other stuff, but 1 + 1 ain't always 2. So maybe that's the takeaway, if you're hiring the right people. So once again, hire people immediately. As soon as you are, you have what you need to survive, what you need to make it for the month, whatever, you have your budget that you've been living off of, you've been surviving off of. Anything else, that's extra. Give it to the people. Give it to, put that into something that's going to return a value. All right. That's all we got to do. That's all we got to do. This business stuff is easy. No, it's always going to be challenging. What makes it, I'm not gonna say easier, but what makes us able to overcome those challenging obstacles is having a team, is having the time for you to address the problems, while you know that you have somebody that you trust, or people that you trust, that are going to make sure that the business is up and running. And another thing that I want to touch on real quick before we finish up is advertising. Some people may say like, oh, well, that extra money that I make, maybe I just want to put that into advertising so I can get more money. That's something that people would probably be more willing to spend on than bringing somebody on board if they're like, yo, this advertisement is going to bring in this amount more business. It's harder in some cases to invest it in a person. But think about this. If you're already doing everything and then you spend money on advertising, how are you going to even deal with the amount of orders now that's coming in? Or, hey, now more people want to hire you for your services. You're not even going to be capable to scale because you don't have a team. You're already spread thin. All right. So the only way to do that is to make sure that you have a system in place. And having a system in place is having a team in place. All right. So for all those that just want to spend it on advertising, maybe you should think about that as well, because there's nothing worse than spending money on advertisements to get orders, to get more people that want your services, but you've just, already capped out with your bandwidth. You've already reached that ceiling. So the only way to extend that ceiling, lift that ceiling, burst through that ceiling, is to bring people on board, but the right people. All right. The hiring process is probably the most important process. Do your due diligence when bringing somebody on. Don't ignore certain things. Don't ignore red flags. Understand exactly who the person is that you're bringing on board and make sure that they fit the role. So you have to understand the role as well. With that, I'll let y'all rock out. Enjoy the rest of your day. Ew.